Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the Philly Fox and Danny D Eagles podcast. That's Philly Fox and I'm Danny D, and we are coming to you from our Eagles perch in the Ed Bobko Memorial Studios in beautiful Morristown, Pennsylvania. Today we are going to break down and give our take on Week 15 Steelers and the Eagles at the Link. So, Philly, I don't think we can talk about the game without talking about what happened during the week and how it may influence the play calling in the Steelers game. What do you think about starting with AJ and Devontae on the sidelines? What did you see?
Well, they just wanted to get the ball more. They felt like the offense was running through Saquon too much.
Yeah. It seemed like they were definitely having some big conversations and didn't look like they were too happy. Then, so as far as AJ's comments after the game, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, he just want the passing game to have more of an impact because in the playoffs, you can't just run the ball and that's it. You have to have a passing game too.
Yeah, and that's all well and good. But I think he knew that he was actually going to be people were going to be thinking that he was actually taking a shot at Jalen, and that it was all about just Jalen not getting him the ball. Of course, he walked it back later in the week and said that it was a multi-layered thing and that it was just a matter of getting everybody involved and then focusing more on the pass. Then we have BG's comments and about their relationship between AJ and Jalen. What do you think about that?
Well, I think he stirred the pot a little, but he instantly regretted it. He apologized a day later. So,
Well, he did, and he did apologize. But I actually think what AJ said and what he said, there was some good in that. It ended up bringing it all out in the open. It didn't fester. And, everybody can't forget about last year, the way the season fell apart. It wasn't about the passing game and it wasn't about the same thing, but there was something that went on and it festered and it didn't get taken care of. I think AJ and BG actually could, really did something good. And so anyway, and what about Sirianni? What do you think about? I'm sorry. I was going to ask you. What do you think about the relationship between AJ and Jalen?
well, here they're quote best friends. Like they've said it for like the past couple of years since AJ's been traded to Philly. That hurts one of them because they're best friends.
Right, and but like in all relationships, life happens, and just because they're not as tight as they used to be, or don't hang out as much, people want to say, oh well, they're not as good of friends, or because that they have these disagreements, they're not as good as friends. All relationships are different, and it could be like brothers. I've known brothers that fight, and then they make up, and they love each other. So. I think that worked out for the best. What about Sirianni? How he handled it? What do you think about that?
Well, he just said in his press conference like AJ wants the ball more. That's all it is. It's not a shot at Jalen.
Right, and I think he handled it well. I mean, in the press, I heard him say that they had it. They talked about it in the team meeting, and they moved on. And the team put it behind him, and I'll give him credit. He was a level head and a steady hand through all this. So, all right. Well, I guess we're ready to talk about the Keystone Clash, and so the Eagles start the game. Sidney Brown got hurt on the kickoff by Warren.
The Steelers, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And. So they didn't get but the Eagles didn't, but the Steelers didn't get much traction in that first quarter, right?
Because Bond was making plays like he always does.
Yeah, and it was 3 and out, and then Wilson missed the deep pass and stuff. So yeah, and then the Eagles got the ball, and
like first play, Calcaterra 22-yard gain, like.
Right. I mean, it was great. I mean, Calcaterra, then AJ, then Smitty, then Barkley finally got a run, and we ended up with a field goal. Eagles win, leading 3-0.
3-0.
Okay, so they kick off the ball to the Steelers, and they get the ball on what, the 32?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened on this drive?
Well, Carter and Sweat were holding Najee Harris to like no gain or minimal gain.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely Carter. Man, you know, I don't know about you, but man, that guy is just so big and he's just so disruptive. I mean, he is just a force to be reckoned with, and Sweat's not his size, but boy, he is just having a really good season. We've been calling his name a lot. And then somebody else had a really good play.
Nolan Smith tipped a Wilson pass, causing a 3-and-out.
Causing a 3-and-out. So great defensive stand there. All right, so now the Eagles get the ball on the 21. And what happened then?
Barkley gets a 7-yard run. He's finally getting going a little.
Yeah. And then who else had a good run?
Well, it was a Gainwell has spun out of a Dante Jackson tackle.
Right, to get
first down, extended drive.
Yeah, and I think Gainwell has been he's a little underrated this year because he hasn't been playing that much, and we've all been talking about Barkley, but that guy hits the holes and he hits them hard, and he knows that he's not going to get a lot of touches, and he's making the most out of all of them. So, attaboy, Gainwell. But unfortunately, on the next later, what happened?
T.J. Watt forced a Hurts fumble.
Oh, right, and that was a peanut punch, right?
Yes, peanut punch.
Yeah. So how did that name come about? Do you know?
Charles Peanut Tillman.
Charles Peanut Tillman. Okay, and that was his signature move.
Yes, he went like boom and punched the ball right out.
Okay, so that's how it got it's called the peanut punch.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, and boy, he's really effective with it. It might have been Tillman's move, but TJ has perfected it. So now we got the Steelers get the ball, and what happened then?
Well, Wilson get more passes tipped, this time by Milton Williams.
Okay. And then what? Sweat got a sack?
Knocking him out of field goal range. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then the Steelers punted it. And what happened on that punt?
DeJean fumbled it, unfortunately.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, you don't like to see that. I mean, he's been doing such a good job all year, but hey, I mean, it happens. We're not gonna bench him or anything. I don't like him returning him, but we really have no choice with Covey out, right? So the Steelers recover, but they only ended up with what on that?
A 37-yard field goal due to two penalties on the same play.
On the same play. Okay, so they shot themselves in the foot. I think that's something we're going to be saying a lot today. And then so the Cooper DeJean fumble only ended up with 3 points. So what's the score? So we're at
3-3.
3-3. Okay. So Eagles get the ball and they start at the
30-yard line.
30-yard line. Okay. And then we get a couple of passes
to A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and that second one, boy, that was a great catch, wasn't it?
Back
shoulder. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how he was strong enough to contort his body and then still, I mean, he's got great hands. I mean, he's not just a great runner, but boy, he's got great hands. He really does. Okay. So then we got Barkley gets in on the action, right?
22-yard run.
Yeah. And then the pop pass.
Yes.
I'm saying it, but I'm not liking it. But yeah, okay. So we had the pop pass for AJ Brown for a TD,
yes.
And now we got a score of 10-3.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're liking that. We're definitely liking that.
Yes,
okay. So your first quarter takeaways, Steelers. Boy, they had a terrible first quarter. What were they averaging per play?
0.1 yards.
Oh, my God. I mean, not even a yard per play. Not even, and they only ended up with 3 points, even though there was the Eagles had two turnovers, right?
Yes.
So the Eagles and they squashed that can't score in the first quarter narrative, even with having 2 turnovers. So credit the defense big time for keeping them in the game, and the offense for putting some points on the board,
yes.
right? And it could have been even no.
Could have been even worse. The Steelers
Yeah.
could have been up 14-3 just like that from the turnovers.
Exactly. That's where I was going. Thank you. Okay, so second quarter, Steelers not having much luck again, right?
Well, they start on the 30.
Yeah. Okay, and
Another drive killed by penalties.
another drive was killed by penalties, and then what's my note? I got a note about Cooper DeJean.
He returned the punt from the Steelers to the
Oh,
45 of the
right.
Steelers.
Okay, so that's it. So he had a good return, so he kind of helped make up for the
Fumble.
fumble and stuff. Good for him. All right. So then we got that drive, and AJ seemed to be unstoppable. I see Devontae was getting into the mix, and then
Gainwell was also getting in the mix.
Gainwell was in there.
Kenny Albert was not paying attention to the game because he said the Eagles lacked a run game, even though Gainwell was getting big gains.
Yeah, I mean, he was just ignored everything that was going on. I mean, he didn't. Right, you know what? Barkley's the only one that runs the ball. Yeah, I mean, Gainwell was doing really, really well. So then later on, there was we had there was a bad snap which Jalen corralled, right? Saved the drive.
Yes, it did.
Yep. And then what happened after that?
The next play, Smitty got a TD.
All right. And then so that was a great pass. And then now the Eagles are up 17-3. Okay. So on the next drive for the Steelers, man, this was terrible. That call on Blankenship. I mean, so what happened there?
Well, the Steelers brought Fields in, the quarterback, to run it.
Right.
And then Fields was apparently hit late on the slide.
Yeah.
Even though Blankenship was coming in and he slid like as he was coming in, like he can't stop his momentum.
Yeah. I mean, it was a terrible call. There was absolutely no way that was a late slide. I mean, his feet were only like inches away from Blankenship when he started to slide. That was a terrible call. Wasn't even close. But there's nothing you could do about it. And then what happened after that?
Russ scrambled for a first down.
Okay.
And then DeJean made a good tackle, the first to third and goal.
Right.
But unfortunately, Freiermuth had a touchdown over Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything he could, but Freiermuth was just bigger and stronger. I mean, they both had their hands on the ball. Freiermuth ended up with the ball. Steelers score. Now we're 17-10. So the Eagles get the ball back, and Jalen gets he got sacked again.
Well, yes, he held onto the ball too long though. It's on him.
Yeah. Okay. And who sacked him?
Oh, yep, T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt, yep. So that was his second sack?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And then,
so now we got so the Steelers get the ball, and what happened then on that drive?
well, Freiermuth on the football move thing.
Oh, don't even get me started on the football move. We could do a whole show on that. And then Nolan Smith, he gets a big sack, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that stopped the drive. Steelers end up with a field goal.
17-13.
17-13. Okay. Eagles run out the clock after Hurts gets sacked by TJ.
Yes.
End of the first half.
Yes.
All right. So now Barkley was out most of the second quarter.
Yes.
Do you think? So what do you think of the first half overall for what the Eagles' first half?
Well, I thought the offense was balanced. They were spraying the ball around, passing it. It wasn't all just run, run, run.
Yeah, and the defense. I mean, the defense really kept them in the game, right? I mean,
yes, those turnovers could have been killer.
Yeah, absolutely. Key sacks, key plays, key tackles. What do you think they need to improve on?
Well, just that, the turnovers.
The turnovers. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Okay, so now starting the second half, and Barkley's out there though. Okay, so he sat out most of the second quarter there. They were giving him a little break, and so he's back out there. And so what happened on the Eagles' drive?
Barkley ran it, then Hurts ran it for a first down, and then Smitty again. He got another first down.
Yeah, so they're spreading the ball around, like we said they were. That's really good. And then what happened with one of Smitty's catches?
Well, Calcaterra caught it, and then Smitty wiped it out.
Right,
with a hold that was big.
That's right. Yeah. That was another bad call. Definitely a bad call. So Calcaterra made the catch, but the bad call on Smitty. Yeah. And what about Brady, man?
Well, Brady called Elliott Akers as he was attempting the field goal.
Yeah, he needs to look at his notes better. Of course, who am I to talk, right?
Yes.
I for once now I can. I don't want to pick on those guys too much and stuff because, man, this ain't easy,
Yes.
So anyway, so the drive stalls and they end up with a field goal.
But there was a penalty on the Steelers roughing the snapper.
Oh man, so yeah, then what happened after that?
Well, it ended up stalling anyway. Elliott kicked the 41-yarder.
Yeah, so it just delayed it.
Yes.
Yeah, so now it's 20-13. Okay.
Yes.
So now the Steelers get the ball and they're on the 30.
Yes.
And they try they pull a flea flicker, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And that was Bond was on the coverage, but you know what, you can't really fault him on that. It was a great catch by Austin.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we got the the Harris fumble. What happened there?
Well, Russ changed the play at the line, and then Najee wasn't expecting the ball, and then it went through his hands on a backwards pass, which is a fumble by rule.
Yeah.
And then Slay recovered it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but to me, Harris should have had that. I mean, it was right in his hands. I don't care if Wilson changed the play or not. He should have been paying attention, right? Isn't that the quarterback's privilege? His option to do that. So,
yes.
But anyway, good for the Eagles. So then what happened? So the Eagles got the ball. Eagles take over.
And then Smitty gets a first down catch right away.
Right. And then who else?
Hurts scrambled for a first down, and then
So Barkley was
and
run.
Gainwell were doing it too.
Spreading the ball around, running too. I like seeing Gainwell in there. Whether it was because Barkley wasn't fully healthy or not, it doesn't matter. Getting him some touches because you never know when you're going to need them. And then the drive ended with what?
A Hurts tush push TD.
Of course, the tush push. And now we got a 27-13 score,
Yes.
right? So now we're going into the fourth quarter. Man, I guess we've been saying this through a lot of the game. Penalties on the Steelers. Tomlin's not going to be happy. He's not. Those poor boys. There's aren't going to be some good practices and some meetings, and I would not want to hear him after the game. So then we also have we had a little controversy on our team, right? Jalen Carter got a penalty, right? What happened there? What was on that?
We pushed the guy in the helmet or something, but it was after the play. So.
Yeah, head slap there. Yeah, luckily it was after the play, so the yardage
from the punt.
Yeah, so it was added to was taken off the punt instead of affecting the play and extending the drive. Yeah, which let's just say for sake of argument they go down and score 27-20. It could be a different ball game.
Yes.
Everybody's saying how dumb it was, and it's something he has to learn from. But you got to love the kid's emotion. I mean, when he's out there, he just walks around like man, there ain't nobody that can stop me. Ain't nobody that can touch me. I can do whatever I want out here. And sometimes, it's going to get you in trouble, but his emotion is going to get you so many more sacks and so many more big plays, I think, than what it's going to hurt you. But he does have to learn. Okay. So what else we got here? So we got Jalen to AJ, and what was I wrote down here? He was lucky. Luckily, he was able to get to
off.
it. Oh, that was the one. That was the
Barkley.
one. The Barkley, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So he was scrambling. Yeah, I remember that now. So he was scrambling, and at the last second, he flicked it over there. Yeah, I mean it was a good play. It was kind of lucky. It was a kind of a long distance to flick it, but and then what do we got after that?
Well, Saquon got the first down, and then they pretty much salted the clock with like another Smitty first down.
Yeah. Oh man, what a drive, right? What a
Yes.
drive! Over 10 minutes to end the game, and final Eagles win. Final score 27-13. Damn, that was I mean, that was really, really, really a good game. I mean, you had to totally enjoy watching that game, especially after the game the week before against Carolina. Answered all the questions. So let's look at. I'm sorry. So how do you feel about the game? I mean, you had a good feeling, right, after that win?
Well, it's a win against a playoff team.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, probably the best defense they faced all year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then they scored in the first quarter too. On top of it, right?
Well, 10 points.
Yeah, 10 points and 27 total. So that's not bad for supposedly run first team, right?
Yes.
So let's look at game balls, okay? So on offense, who you giving the game ball to?
Well, I'd say Gainwell as well as the receivers.
Yeah, and what I told you earlier, I like Gainwell this year. The kid is really, really trying. He's giving it all he has. Me, and like you said, as well as all the receivers. So I'm just going to say the whole offense in general, because it was just a solid performance all the way around from Jalen to AJ to Devontae. The line, Barkley, Gainwell, everybody. So we should have a couple of dozen game balls really for this game. But on defense, who would you give your game ball to?
Well, I'd say Nolan Smith because he sacked Wilson. He was batting passes down.
Yeah,
Making his presence felt.
yeah. And me, Cooper. I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean because he had an off game last week, mostly because we both think he got hurt on that first kickoff early in the game, and he took a good shot, and he was tentative the whole game, but he was solid. Nothing great, but just solid all day. So coaches, we're going to grade the coaches. Sirianni.
I'd give him an A.
Absolutely. For pregame, during the game, everything after the game. I mean, he had a good week, a good game. How about Kellen Moore?
Well, an A. He got everyone involved.
Yeah, and he obviously had a good pregame too, right? Jalen's comments about watering the passing game as well as the running game, so that's referring to the work that they put in practice. And Vic, how about Vic? What are we giving him?
I'd give him an A because the defense kept us in the game when we were turning the ball over early.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it just seemed like, sure, the penalties shot him in the foot time after time. But, you got to credit the defense for putting them in that position, man, because they didn't know what was coming at them. It was definitely a good game plan, and the defense executed it. So, all right. So we're good on the game. How about let's look at the playoffs here a little bit. So who are the top teams you think right now in the NFC? If you were to rank let's just say the top 5 teams in the NFC, who would you rank them? How would you rank them?
Well, I'd go Eagles, Lions, Vikings, Packers. Unfortunately, the Bucks.
Yeah.
They were the pesky team.
Yeah. That's between the two of us, I don't think we like Tampa even just a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't like them at all. Yeah, I don't have a problem with what you said there. How about the okay, let's go one step further on that. Who do you think that the Eagles are going to end up playing in in the NFC Championship game.
The Lions, whether it's in Detroit or Philly.
Okay, all
That
right.
The injuries on the Lions make it more in the Eagles' favor.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I don't disagree, but keep your eyes on Minnesota. Minnesota has actually kind of like, I think they're into the point where no matter who the tiebreaker is against, whether it's Detroit or Minnesota, we lose on both counts, and they actually have a chance of winning that
number one seed.
Yeah, winning that division, and which would give them the number one seed. And of course, none of us want to play Tampa Bay, right? We don't want to face Bowls again, right?
Yes.
Nobody really likes facing Bowls. How about over in the AFC? Who would be your top 5 in the AFC?
Well, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Steelers. And then the 5th team would be like the Chargers or some like fringe playoff because like there's like the 4 big dogs, and then after that it just drops off.
Okay, so you keep the Steelers in there even though they lost to the Eagles.
Well, the Steelers and the Ravens are fighting for that division.
Yeah, and so I guess, but also your thought would be right that the Eagles are a better team, so losing to a better team shouldn't really be a knock against them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they lost to a team that
Had a better record.
that had a better record. Okay, so well, look. So we want to make an announcement. Obviously, in the beginning of this, we did a little bit week in review leading up to it, and we did that because of so much that went on that week, and we thought we couldn't not talk about it. So that made us realize that we should actually be doing a preview before all the games. So starting this Friday, we're gonna have our first one. It's going to be Eagles versus the Commanders. So look for that on Friday. Also, I'd like to announce that you can follow us now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So remember, if you don't like us, you know what I meant. Don't cut this out, okay? Because we're human. Like I said earlier, this is not easy.
Yes.
We make mistakes, but so seriously, if you don't hate us, please like us and follow us and subscribe, so you don't miss an episode. And we're going to keep trying to get better and better every week. We're going to keep trying to bring you more better content, give you more energy, better takes on everything. So please, like I said, if you don't hate us, like us, follow us, and subscribe. So we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to say,
Fly, Eagles,
fly, Eagles, fly. All right.